This is Kelly.
Hello.
PelvRx is the name of your company.
Correct.
You are a physical therapist.
I am.
But you specialize in women's physical therapy. Okay.
Yes.
So I didn't even know this was a thing, which is...
Most don't.
Yeah.
You're not alone.
Is it new-ish?
It's gaining more popularity.
Yeah.
And it's becoming more well known that is a service that is offered and that you actually don't have to live with the symptoms of pelvic floor dysfunction.
Okay.
So it is gaining popularity, which is great.
That means, the tinkling when you laugh sort of thing?
Yeah.
Dang it.
Yeah,
Where was this
laughing,
20
running,
years
coughing.
ago?
I know.
Yeah.
Well, and it's chalked
Yeah.
up to, welcome to mom life. This is how it is. I
Yeah.
still hear it. It breaks my heart. It's like, no, actually, there's a lot we can do for this. So that's where I'm trying to really
Wow.
push the knowledge and the education on that.
Okay. You're a big CrossFitter. And so that's kind of where you source some people who might need help. So how do you find these patients? What are they saying to you when they're coming to you? What are the issues?
The biggest one I hear is probably the leakage, or we call it in our world, we call it urinary incontinence, but the leakage. And I see it with things, as simple as like coughing, laughing, sneezing.
Yeah.
Or I'll see it with like, I'm good there, but it's when I run, or it's when I lift something heavy.
Yeah.
I'll treat pelvic pain, so that's another thing.
Yeah.
Especially, and not even postpartum, that can be anytime.
Right.
But pelvic pain, constipation is actually something we can help with as well. So that one I'll see a fair amount. Prolapse, or that like pelvic heaviness, is usually the complaint I'll hear if that's an issue. Not always, but it's like, I feel like my it's very heavy when I do things.
Okay.
Diastasis recti, or the separation of the abdominal muscles. And I see that both as a complaint during pregnancy, which it's very normal during pregnancy. We need that to happen.
Yeah.
And then postpartum, trying to
Okay.
think like, how can I correct this, or how can I hate to even say the word fix, but how can I better strengthen my core with that? Yeah.
Okay. Now, with what how you're helping people, is this something that you're teaching them things that they can do after here, right? So it's not like this continual thing. Okay.
Yeah, one of my biggest goals and one of my values is empowerment.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't want to just be the person that fixes you, right?
Yeah.
I want to be the person that says, all right, this is what you need to do to help yourself, and give you those tools so that way you can carry that on. Because I'm trying to create a lifestyle that can be implemented throughout. And if you run into an issue, you're going to be like, I remember this is kind of what happened before with Kelly. Let me try these things first.
Yeah.
Then if it doesn't work, then we'll come back in.
Yeah.
So I'm really
nice
big
that
on
you're
that.
really trying to fix your way out of a job, kind of, but as I said to you before, there's no shortage of patients who need physical therapy. They may not just know it, that that's what they need, right?
Exactly.
Because I think physical therapy, I don't know, do you find like it comes in when people are just kind of like, I gotta do something, or do they know that they need physical therapy when they come to you?
I see both.
Yeah.
I see both. And the ones who come to me more as a preventative, they either saw a post on something, a friend told them like, hey, you have to do this.
Yeah.
Some of the healthcare professionals are getting better at being a little bit more proactive about it, especially midwives. I see even during pregnancy, they might say like, hey, why don't you just go have a couple sessions? And then postpartum, again, like, why don't you just see pelvic floor PT, get things checked, and go from there.
Okay.
So I am seeing it's the tide starting to turn a little bit, which is great, where I am having clients come in as more of a preventative.
Nice.
And then I have ones who've been dealing with something for 5, 10, 15 years. Like, I had no clue I could get help.
Yeah.
So I see both.
Yeah. I would say that that's true too. I didn't even know it was something that could be fixed with physical therapy and not something more drastic. So that's really good. So you moved into your new space here just recently.
Yes.
You were practicing amongst another organization for a while.
Yep.
You got your own setup. What has been the most exciting part about all of this? Setting up your space and...
Just starting my own thing has just been so exciting. And I was actually talking to somebody the other day who's going to help me organize my thoughts, because I have very big goals, and I need to, again, kind of carve that path out. So just being able to create something that I feel like the community needs in a way that I feel like would best serve the population has, oh gosh, I love it already. It's been so much fun.
Yeah. As exhausting as it may be, right? It is your own thing.
I feel like it should be more exhausting. I'm working all the time, but it doesn't feel like work right now. I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not sitting back with my feet up. It's been very challenging, very stressful, but it's more of a like, I see this taking me in a direction that I want it to go. So it's more excitement than feeling like work right now. At least, ask me again in a month. We might have a different answer. But for right now, it's just been very exciting.
And it should, you know, when you're doing something you love and enjoy and you're doing it for yourself, it shouldn't feel like work, really. Right. Yeah, as exhausting as it may be for some of us. That's me. All right. Over the next 6 to 12, so you got some big goals. What would be like the pinnacle goal, the way down the track goal that they're telling you to rein in? But what is that?
I would love to, well, in a year, I want to be in a bigger space. And I would love to have the ability to hire, 3, maybe 4 PTs to come on board and help out with this. And then offer different services. So whether it's telehealth, I would like to be able to do that, especially for my postpartum moms, where it's maybe like the first week or two, like I don't want to leave the house, but I need a touch point, right? And I feel like that's lacking in our system, where it's have a baby, right, bye, 6 weeks later. That's a long time to go after having a baby without a touch point, in my opinion. So I think providing potentially telehealth there, or if somebody's like, I just would rather do telehealth, cool, we can offer those services, and then potentially providing like some online classes as well of different like diagnoses I see, where maybe you just want a little bit more education on it, but you don't feel like you're quite ready to come in to the facility. So those are some things that are just thrown out there.
Those are extra. I think they're pretty attainable. I think you've got it made there. If somebody wants to find out how to book an appointment with you and all of that, where do they need to go?
My website, which is pelvrx, pelvrx.com. You can go there just to learn more about the company, what I offer, what I do. My email is also on there. Shoot me an email. Instagram, I have stuff on there. You can send me a direct message on Instagram too. And again, that's just at pelvrx. So honestly, any of those ways, learn more information from the website, reach out to me directly. I'm happy to help. And then the phone number's on the website too.
What do you see as the biggest challenge in the next year or two in healthcare with maybe women in particular? Do you notice any sort of trends or concerns down the track? In a way, I see things trending positively from a women's health standpoint. And I say that because over the couple years that I've kind of switched gears into this niche, I'm slowly, very, very slowly starting to see things change and improve a little bit. And they're becoming a little bit more awareness about it. I know that doesn't answer your question with like a challenge from that, but I do see things starting to become a little bit less taboo and more talked about, which is great. That's great news. That's great. So hopefully it continues to trend in that direction, but we'll see. From women's health specifically, it's kind of how I see it going. So if there are moms out there who are dealing with leakage and all of that, is there anything we can give them, like 2 tips right now that they can do at home to see if they can have some improvement before they contact you? And I also have I break this down into different things, tip sheets as well to send out. I'm kind of cautious because if you Google that, you're going to find just do Kegels. And a couple things happen with that. One, either you don't know how to do a Kegel. You're like, I don't know what I'm doing. We're doing it wrong. Or that's not what you need. So maybe we need like more relaxation before we build up the strength or something like that. But I will say, kind of step back and look at your overall like just lifestyle, which can be helpful as well. This sounds weird because if you're leaking, you're like, oh, I don't want to drink water, but are you drinking enough? Because dehydration can feed into that. What are your stress levels like? Because our pelvic floor muscles really respond to stress. So can we knock that down a little bit? How much are you sleeping? That can be a hard one to change, especially if mamas have a newborn. So sometimes that's not as controllable. And how are we fueling ourselves? So how much are we eating? Especially new moms, we need to eat enough. And I see that a lot where we're under fueling, and it can lead to pelvic floor dysfunction and contribute to it. I should say, maybe not lead to it, but contribute to it. So those are like the big lifestyle things that you can control right now.
assess that, have an honest conversation with yourself and see like, where could I improve this?
Yeah.
So that's a big thing that everybody could
Who knew
benefit from.
that all of that stuff would happen?
It's a complex system, and
Yeah.
we dive into all of that and
Yeah.
kind of help guide you through that.
That's awesome.
And then just really looking at overall strength. So especially if you have a toddler running around, you just had a newborn, it can be really hard to exercise. But we have found that if we have strength limitations, even in the hips, the core, if you know like, oh, this is something I need to work on, even just starting there. If you think like, can I fit in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever it is, of some type of strength routine, that can have a huge impact on the pelvic floor.
Yeah. Yeah. I think sometimes we get overwhelmed thinking, oh, I got to go to the gym 3 days a week, an hour at a time, and I can't. But actually, if you just do things consistently, maybe 5-10 minutes throughout the day, when you have time, then it's going to help ultimately in the end.
Yeah, it adds up.
Yeah, that's really cool. I mean, you know, I think people should get help when they feel like they need it. Don't put it off just because you might be a new mom with a toddler and a new baby, because maybe you can catch things earlier, or maybe you can get the tools you need to fix them quicker than waiting years and years and years.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's always easier to treat it earlier on, but it can be treated later as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree with that.
And you were saying earlier, like you get a lot of referrals from midwives and going to the CrossFit gyms and things. Are there a lot of women who are CrossFitters who are having issues too? Because I feel like they're like, ready to go. So no.
Yeah,
Okay.
I see a lot, and there's a lot of impact things. There's, if we're not bracing properly, and this applies not just CrossFit, but any type of lifting. If we're not using our core correctly or bracing correctly, and again, this is where it goes beyond just the pelvic floor. Let's say we have an issue with like the foot or the ankle, or the low back or the upper back. There's something that's feeding into our core system not working efficiently. It can lead to those dysfunctions.
Yeah. And so you're able to bring people in here and evaluate kind of how they're lifting and bending and very cool.
Yeah, looking at all of that. What's the strength? What's the mobility like? Where do you fall into, okay, we need to do this specifically for you.
Right,
and that can look different for everybody.
Yeah, good. All right. Well, you can come see Dr. Kelly Yates at PelvRx. I'm going to put the website on the screen. Find her on Instagram. She can help you if you're having some issues, or if you know somebody who is. You can refer them to her, and we will see you guys next time.
Thank you.